Hey guys, I don't really do voiceovers, but there's a lot that's happening, so I think a voiceover would benefit, especially since there's a lot of information. Also, I do have a speech impediment. I really do hope that everything gets out as smooth as possible, but keep in mind I do have a lisp. So, basically, as the title would suggest, Snowy does have cancer, bone cancer to be specific. How we figured this out was around December she had a night fright. Now budgies not so much, typically cockatiels, they're more prone to night frights, but when Snowy had one, the next day she basically kind of had a sore foot. But and typically I'm a paranoid bird parent, but I just kind of said, let's give it a day. If it doesn't seem like it's healing, I will take her to the vet. And then, oddly enough, she did heal for the most part. That's what I initially assumed. But what would happen is that she would always perch in a weird way. And I don't know, in a way I thought maybe I'm just being weird. But one day, which was around, I think around February, basically what had happened was she stopped using her foot completely. I forgot to mention this, but it was actually her left foot. So basically I arrive to the vet. What my vet does, he actually puts some rubbing alcohol on her left side around the femur area, because he couldn't see any noticeable breaking on her lower part of her visible leg that we could all see in Budgie. So he put it around the femur area and he immediately saw bruising. Before we went with an x-ray, he just pretty much told me what my options were. My number one option would be splints or pins. My second option was to let it heal on its own. And my third option, which is an extreme option, which I wasn't at the moment gonna go with, was amputation. So we did kind of stay on the topic of amputation simply because her leg, you don't typically break your femur. It's around the toes and stuff that typically budgies break. A femur, it's a larger bone area. In a way it's good, in a way it's bad. Because it's larger bone, it is better for surgical area. It's better because they have a lot more space to work with. So right away we got the x-ray done, and when he came back in, he told me surgery was not possible because of the way that Snowy broke her left leg. It was kind of shattered, and in a way it was kind of twisted. So I will have pictures inserted to show you guys. So my other two options were, again, that were left were to get an amputation or to let it heal on its own. I did not want my bird's foot to get amputated, so we went with her having to rest for a month, and then I had to reschedule her in, and we come again and do another x-ray to see how it healed. Now comes along the second vet appointment. Now here is the part where things started not adding up. Snowy actually did not have enough calcification on her bone around the femur area. So it basically means there wasn't enough calcium deposits. Calcium deposits, it's important because it's kind of like a mold on a bird's foot, or even humans. Like when it's broken, it's kind of like a molding piece. Like they mold the bone. And she didn't have enough. My vet told me she had very little to none. So she gave me calcium powder that I had to add into her water. Pretty much at this point for 2 months, Snowy has been on cage rest, and she hasn't been with the other flock. I mean, she was beside them, side by side. At the very beginning she was upstairs. I didn't have her downstairs so I could monitor her, but later on I put her beside her flock mates. So basically in our second vet appointment, my vet said 2 weeks on her own, the cage could be side by side. The third week I could have her in the cage with the other flock members, but I can't have her fly. And then the fourth, pretty much at the end of the third week, I could have her out, have her fly. Signs we were looking for is if she's flying and landing roughly and she's not using her foot, or if she shows any signs of discomfort within a week or two. Those were all signs. In general, a limping budgie. So those were signs that I was supposed to be looking at, and if I saw them, pretty much I had to bring her in, and pretty much at that point it meant surgery. So finally the day has come. Snowy was able to go out and fly free, and I decided to give her a bath. Now once I was done with giving her a bath, it was in general the whole flock got a bath. I used the mister and I misted them down, and a budgie looks very different once they are given a bath, but with Snowy she looked very, very, very different. She had 2 lumps on her right side. So if you're keeping track, on her left side she has the broken femur. On the right side she has a lump. One of the lumps were around her cheek area, beside the sear, the eye area, and like around the beak area. It's kind of attached there. It wasn't very noticeable actually. And then the next one, the second bump, was actually on her right leg. So I booked in an appointment with my vet again, and pretty much in our vet appointment, which again I'll have pictures in for you guys, my vet pretty much said it was cancer. A bone cancer typically affects smaller birds. Now honestly, initially I thought it might be like an abscess, because from the second vet appointment to the third vet appointment, there's only been like a span of 3-4 weeks. So I thought, how does cancer grow that quickly? And he actually told me it's actually pretty quickly, which isn't the greatest news, especially since it's spreading that fast. It pretty much means that she won't have a whole lot. Basically at this point there's really no treatment options. I can't do chemo, I can't amputate her leg. This also explains why her left leg didn't heal properly. It's been many months. Typically a broken leg should have healed within 2 weeks, max 3 weeks, and calcification should have happened by now, but he pretty much told me there's really not much he could do. If we do amputate the leg, which at this point, which leg do you amputate? The broken left femur or like the cancerous right leg? It didn't really make sense, but if that was an option, if we went with that, she'd have probably an extra 6 months. But at this point that also doesn't make sense, because like I said, 2 of her legs are not good, and on top of that the cancer is spreading, so it's also on her cheek. People forget what cancer is and what a tumor is. Snowy has cancer. She doesn't have a tumorous lump. So you know, it's sad, but at this point what we gotta do is make her comfortable. When the time does come, I will take her to the vet, and we'll kind of say our goodbyes, and eventually separate our ways. And I don't really want to make this sad. She's very young. She's only 3 years old. Like I said earlier, it only affects smaller birds, typically smaller birds. So there's really not much I could do at this point. I did take her to the vet. The vet actually is quite expensive. I'm not gonna even lie. The surgery was gonna be even more expensive. In each vet appointment, I paid around $400. In the last vet appointment, which was the third vet appointment, I only paid $79 because it was kind of like a rescheduled vet appointment. Typically it's $85, but because it was like a rescheduled one, I paid $79. But in both of the first and second vet appointment, it costed me over $400. And on top of that, I also have Snowy on steroids. Now every day in the morning I give her steroids, which are put into her water droplets. That's not too expensive. It's like, I think it was around $28. So this isn't to make a sad news out there, but it's more so vet appointments are expensive. That's the obvious thing, but also to let you guys know about what's really happening. If you guys want, Instagram is probably the best way to get daily updates. For the most part, if I'm not giving you an update on Snowy, the second day there's almost always an update on her, either on my story or on my page. I know people are very interested on what's happening. At the moment, I'm trying my best to make her very comfortable. The steroids have helped a lot. She's very loud in the mornings. She's very chirpy. She keeps flock calling, which kind of is sad, but the cages are side by side. But I can't have my other birds with Snowy because, like I said, the steroids that are her medication has steroids in it, so it's actually dangerous for my other birds. So she has to be separated. I do make her go on like lunch dates and kind of have her fun. And every day she's also having fun outside. So outside her cage. So that's kind of the update at the moment. I mean, if anything happens or anything major happens, I'll let you guys know. But so far, the only thing that I'm very concerned at the moment, which I hope doesn't happen, is that Snowy actually has reach of her right leg. So the cancer is kind of at a place where she can actually pick at it. So that's actually one of my concerns. I don't want her to self-mutilate, because the bird might not really understand what that bump is. So that's actually one of my concerns right now. I don't know if I'm just being again paranoid, but if she does self-mutilate, I will have to obviously go to the vet again and see what we could do about that. But for the most part, she's very comfortable at the moment, and I just kind of have to wait until she lets me know that she's being very uncomfortable. And you kind of could tell when your bird has not much time left. So ultimately I have to keep an eye on that, and when the time comes, we'll just say our goodbyes. I don't want people to think that I'm doing a bad thing by euthanizing her. It's just that with her condition, there's no cure. And I don't want my bird for 2 days suffocating, not eating, and starving to death. I'd rather, be aware that, okay, this is it. She's not going to make it past a day or two. You might as well have her go peacefully. So that's pretty much what me and my vet decided on the 3rd appointment. And so far, those are really the new updates. So as of now, she's doing fine. She doesn't seem very concerned about her lump on her right leg, which again, she has been preening it, but I don't want that preening on her right leg to go to mutilation, which can happen. So I'm just keeping an eye on that. But yeah, I just wanted to update you guys. So yeah, so that's it for now. Have a nice day, guys. Bye bye.